Special event coming up very soon involving Central New Jersey's very own Raptor Trust, and they've done amazing work for decades now. Rehabilitation services for injured wild birds and exotic birds, and they're all about preservation and conservation, and they're really just a great organization to have here in New Jersey. Special event coming up very soon that I want to get the details to you. So my guest on the Miller Lite Jersey Central Newsmaker Hotline is the Executive Director of Raptor Trust. Let's welcome Chris Soucy to WCTC Radio this morning. Hey, Chris, it's Bert Barron. How you doing today?
Well, Bert, I'm on the air with a New Jersey Broadcasters Hall of Fame member, so I'm doing pretty well.
You could do better, I think, but I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. And I have to thank you as the Executive Director of Raptor Trust. I've been a fan of your organization for decades. I've been a supporter. I love to just go and take tours of the place and kind of see what's going on there. And kudos to you, of course, and all the great work that the staff does at Raptor Trust. But before we talk about the event, maybe someone is hearing about Raptor Trust for the very first time this morning. Chris, what's the elevator speech when people ask you about Raptor Trust?
The elevator speech. Okay, we're a nonprofit 501c3. We are dedicated to the preservation and conservation of wildlife in New Jersey. We focus particularly on wild birds, native birds here in New Jersey. We handle a lot of raptors, which are the big birds of prey, hawks and owls and eagles and falcons. We do a lot of education work, but we take in all native birds. So any bird that's common in your backyard, like a blue jay or, maybe a great blue heron if you live by the lake, if they are injured and in distress or orphaned, we take them in, we handle them. Our goal, as always, is to try to get them back into the wild where they belong. We do have some birds that are permanently crippled that cannot be released back into the wild. We keep them on site for education. People can come and visit, and we have about 50 permanently injured resident birds, hawks, owls, eagles, and falcons that people come and visit. We're open to the public every day. We've handled over 100,000 birds since we started.
Wow, remarkable work. And I know some of the birds that I've been there, and they look fine. They seem like they fly around okay, but unless they can hunt for themselves, they can't be released back into the wild. Is that right?
That's correct. So we have some birds that look, like they're in pretty good shape, but it's a tough gig out there in the wild if you have to, kill for every single meal. So a bird that's 85% looks pretty good, but that's not really good enough in the wild. So, and we also have some birds that are imprinted, which means that they are too accustomed to people. They're not really wild enough. That often happens when people find a young bird. Nothing cuter than a baby screech owl, and they're common in the state, and they're super cute and fluffy, and people want to feed them bologna and whatever. I mean, they need to be in the care of a wildlife rehabilitator, and if possible, they need to be raised with others of their own kind. If they become dependent on people, they are 100% unable to survive in the wild, even though physically they might be fine.
Wow, I had no idea that bologna was the meat of preference to exotic birds.
It is not the meat of preference. I'm trying to make a point that a licensed wildlife rehabilitator will be able to determine the species, the correct course of care, and the perfect diet for that bird, whereas someone who just thinks it's cute
right.
might not be able to do that.
So you'll get calls a lot of times from people, Chris, maybe a homeowner that says, oh, hey, there's this bird in my yard. Looks like he's not doing well. Can I bring him in and have him checked out? You get calls like that from people often in Jersey?
We took in 6,000 birds last year. So,
wow.
Yeah, we get those calls all the time. And every case is different. There's no one fix for all of it. A lot of times the best course of action is to leave the bird alone, especially in spring and summer. It might just be a fledgling that's just out of the nest, but not quite totally able to fly yet. The parents may be nearby tending to it. It's a perfectly natural thing. So we do sometimes get a lot of birds that really don't need much care. Sometimes we say, wow, this bird looks completely healthy. Can you determine if the parents are nearby? And they go home and they see that there's still one in the nest and there's another one hopping around on the ground and parents are feeding it. And we say, hey, take it back. It's fine.
Yeah. Even endangered birds, Chris. I know the bald eagle has made a great comeback here in New Jersey. I believe not long ago we were down to one nesting pair that was in the state, and they've made a big comeback. And obviously, there's still a lot of work to be done when it comes to preservation here in our state. But are there any endangered birds in New Jersey now? Top of your head, can you think of any?
Yeah, there's lots of endangered species of birds here in New Jersey, and some of them are also on the U.S. National federally endangered list also. But in New Jersey, the bald eagle is still endangered. You're right; there was only one nest decades ago. There's about 160, 170 now, which is a tremendous comeback. But that's still 8.5 million people and a couple hundred eagles. So the scales are not really balanced on that. There are some other endangered and or threatened birds here in the state that are raptors. The barred owl, B-A-R-R-E-D, likes sort of swamps and wetlands. So we see them where we are in Morris County near the Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge, but they're not common in lots of other places in New Jersey. There's some birds that people don't really see very often, like the yellow-crowned night heron, which really likes the sort of the marshy meadowlands types areas. And there are lists both at the state and federal Fish and Wildlife websites where if you really want to know like the complete list of what's endangered and what's not, and it does get updated every year or two. So as birds do better or become more imperiled, they get put on or taken off those lists.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. Talk about the event that's coming up. I understand in a few weeks we're going to be celebrating 35 years of the amazing work of Raptor Trust. What's that all about?
Yeah. We were incorporated as a nonprofit in 1983, so it is our 35th anniversary this year. Our event is next Thursday, a week from Thursday, the 27th. We are honoring our board president, whose name is Bill Conger. He's been with us since day one. My parents founded the organization. I'm a second-generation wildlife rehabilitator. I think that's a new thing, maybe, but it's true. And Bill was really the guy who helped my father put some organizational structure around it. My folks were very interested in wildlife in the 50s and even 60s. So while we were incorporated in 83, we've been doing this work for closer to 50 years, really. Wow. Just only incorporated for 35. And Bill Conger he's a very philanthropic guy. He is worked on Wall Street, but is also very involved in lots of other nonprofits and has a lot of nonprofit management experience, whereas my dad knew a little bit about birds. And so the two of them really put the organization on the map in terms of the 501c3 and the nonprofit organization being able to give people a tax receipt for, any donations they may have made. He's been instrumental to our success. So we're honoring a great guy. The event is going to be super fun. Governor Tom Keene Sr. is going to speak for us. We have live music. We have live auction. We have a celebrity auctioneer, Nick Dawes from the Antiques Roadshow, is going to be there.
Nice.
Selling some stuff for us, which is super, super fun. We have a silent auction. We have games and activities. We have some of our live birds. There will be hawks and owls there for the first hour of the program so people can come and meet and greet. And we're not really a big gala-driven organization. We're a very grassroots, it's really literally still in the backyard of my family home kind of place. But for our 35th anniversary, we thought we would maybe, put on a nice shirt.
Yeah, that's really great. And I've had the opportunity to go to some events involving Raptor Trust. A good friend of ours, James Fiorentino, who's a great painter, did an art exhibit in Bernardsville not long ago with Raptor Trust, and I got my picture taken with this cutest little eagle or this little owl you ever saw in your life. And I think when people get to experience that's a tangible thing where people see the great work that you're doing, and when you're actually going to bring out some birds to this event, that's really a great thing to do.
Yeah, and it's really a home run every time. It's one thing to hear me talk about it and another thing for you to support it. But when people can come to the Raptor Trust and see these birds up close, they kind of get what we do a lot more. So if people can come to this event, it's a great way to support. If there are some supporters out there who haven't been informed about the event yet, again, it is September 27th. And if folks are not willing to sort of jump in with their checkbook just yet, it's free to visit. You can come to the Raptor Trust in Millington any day of the year. We are a hospital, so we're open 365 days a year, but the public display area where the birds are held and housed is open all the time, and the tour is sort of self-guided. And, we have bald eagles and golden eagles and peregrine falcons and other endangered species. We have 5 or 6 different species of owls, some vultures, a couple of ravens, an albino robin, all kinds of cool stuff. It's great for the kids. We're right next to the Somerset County Parks Environmental Education Center, also great for kids. We're right next to the Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge, also great for families. It's a really cool little spot. It
really is. And I can recall recent years a documentary film about some development that was going to propose there and the resistance that it met. And thank goodness that Raptor Trust and everything there is going to be there for generations to come, which I think is great news. But if someone wants info on the gala or more information, Chris, is there a website people can check out?
Yep, it's theraptortrust.org. We're a nonprofit, so that's a .org, and we do use the in there. There's a place in England called Raptor Trust. You might want to go to their gala, too, but if you want to get to ours, you got to go to theraptortrust.org.
Gotcha. Chris Soucy, the executive director of the Raptor Trust here in central New Jersey. Thanks for the time this morning, and really just great work you and everyone is doing there. And Raptor Trust is really just a gem of an organization here in New Jersey. And so thank you for the time this morning. Keep up the great work, all right?
Okay, thanks for the kind words, Bert.